Hello, everybody. Welcome to our 100th recording, episode 78 of Dissonant Waves. How did we get to that? Well, if you add 78 episodes together, plus our 22 minisodes, you get episode 100, technically. Or at least 100 recordings.
Yeah.
And only one of them is lost, I think. Probably
Two of
multiple
them.
is lost. Ah, fuck.
Minisode 2.
Both of them are my fault. I am sorry.
Minisode 2, episode 8, I believe. Either way, hello, I'm Dominic. Ritz and Tricks are here, as always.
Hello.
Oui.
And we got a smorgasbord of stuff to talk about this week. Ooh, how do we even announce this stuff? Well, let's see, we got Ritz brought 3 EPs to the table. Some overlooked stuff from throughout the year.
Yep.
fanclbwallet's Hurt is Boring EP. Pinkish Blues People Just Do Good Things Sometimes EP. And Bread Club's Queen of Hearts EP. Meanwhile, I also brought an EP to the table. Home is Where's Our Mouths the Smile and the Alabama Henry demo single. And then I also threw in, not really threw in, but the main course of this meal is actually Glass Speech's The First Glass Speech album. And Tricks being Tricks also threw in Boyscott by Boyscott's Goose Bumps is the way to say that, yes.
Yes.
I forgot we had that one over to announce, so apologies there. I said with Tricks, that I like the Glass Speech one, but didn't enjoy it as much as Home is Where. I was kind of referring to the other EP, because I forgot 5 seconds ago. Like, I listened to the EP, but I forgot that we were covering it today.
Everyone seemed to forget. I don't know how.
I listened to it. I listened to it.
I listened to it too.
I just forgot again that we're covering it.
That's fair. But yes, Our Mouths to Smile, the first EP by Home is Where, recovering after we all loved I Became Birds.
Yeah.
And Glass Beach was here because we keep talking about Glass Beach without covering Glass Beach, so we should cover Glass Beach.
I mean, I Became Birds or something. I think we'll just start with Venetian because we're just kind of there.
Yeah.
I mean, I Became Birds is a record that just the more I listen to it, the more I love it.
It's pretty great. I still think L. Ron Hubbard is way cool is the best song, but that's me.
Long distance conjoined twins. I mean,
I'm a Sister Harakiri, so
they're very varied.
Yeah.
This EP's not bad in any means. I don't think anything here is bad. Although I probably feel like I'm going to enjoy Pinkish Blue more than other people on this podcast. Although I don't have Dominic's opinion yet, so we'll wait for that.
I've been very consciously keeping my opinions close to the chest for this one.
Yeah, fair enough. I like this one, but nothing on here, and I think we're spoiled by having listened to I Became Birds.
Yeah.
Just nothing on here hits. Like, I feel like, well, not as in hits doesn't hit, but I think like the best song on here, which is probably Dob Billin in my opinion, is as good as the worst track on I Became Birds. I think this is an EP that really is still fine. And kind of, if I had listened to this back when it came out, I'd be going like, "Yeah, this is a band to watch for." And then, obviously now we know it. But I mean, this is just
a great first showing.
Starting out.
Yeah.
The thing I thought was funny listening to this album was that I felt like so many of the tracks, Brandon McDonald's vocal pattern kept trying to do L. Ron Hubbard was way cool, but it wasn't that song. Like, it's in Bob Dylan, or Dob Billin. It's in, I think, a couple others, where it just sounds like it's going to go into that opening, and it doesn't. And I feel like having then that song be chronologically next makes it flow really well together somehow. It's like, you finally have like the beat drop in a sense of there is how that vocal chord should go.
Yeah.
But it was interesting listening to, because they put out the Alabama Henry single in like 2017, about 2 years before this EP came out. So it's interesting seeing how it evolved from then to now into I Became Birds. It's been, they've taken time between their stuff, but it's been a pretty sharp ascent.
Yeah.
This was definitely a rougher sounding EP as well, and it feels like that was something mostly just due to the production that they could do.
Yeah. And like,
I wasn't really gonna say much. I mean, it's just like, it's an alright listen, but it feels like we've said everything that we can about Home is Where when we covered them originally, and I just think it was just better.
Yeah.
It's like there's a debate about whether I Became Birds is it an album, is it an EP, and that debate's
I consider it an EP.
Yeah, it's 6 tracks. It's like 20 minutes long. But this, on the other hand, is definitely an EP. This feels like a collection of tracks. I Became Birds feels a bit more complete and like an idea of some sort that they put together, even if it doesn't necessarily fit the constructs of the medium. Like,
It's also longer than I Became Birds as well. So
is it really?
yeah, by
Wow.
3 minutes.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize that.
because Cicada Summer is a 7-minute song.
Nothing
Yeah.
on I Became Birds is that long?
No, I Became Birds' longest song I think is actually is it even 4 minutes?
Wow.
Yeah, Sewn Together is 5 minutes, but a bit, and Sister Harakiri, and that's 2 songs that are 4 minutes. You might go, okay, well, this is 5 tracks and the other 7, but then I Became Birds has a 1-minute song.
Yeah.
It's just shorter than anything. It has a 1-minute song and a 2-minute song because I think
L. Hubbard's a minute and some
Sci-
seconds.
yeah, and scientific classification's only 2 minutes, so it doesn't have a song as long as Cicada Summer, and it has 2 songs that are shorter than Alabama.
hmm
Interesting. I also thought it was interesting that there are 2 songs that talk about a Sophie this week. Because Boyscott has Rip Sophie Moore. And then Alsace Lorraine, if that's pronouncing it correctly, I don't even know. It talks about a Sophie in this EP. That's
And don't know if you caught that, but that's Sophie Moore is also a pun.
because it's a sophomore. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I have words for that later. But there's like some nice storytelling. They talk about kind of stray dogs here and there. Seesaws and stray dogs are kind of get brought up in Venison, and then in Alsace Lorraine they talk about all the dogs in the neighborhood have run away. They know something we don't, but they are too afraid to say it to our face. And
yeah.
I think that's kind of fun. Like the band has kind of an attachment to kind of animals like that. I feel like.
Yeah, and like even on I Became Birds, there's the I want to pet every puppy I see.
Yes, the dogs are constantly coming up. Like they love dogs almost as much as they love Bob Dylan.
I mean, admittedly, I didn't go and look at the lyrics on this EP
I'm just
as
looking at the
much as
Bandcamp.
yeah, as much as the other one, but from what I heard, it just didn't feel as vivid. I know we're gonna just constantly compare it to I Became Birds, but I don't feel too bad about it.
No.
It doesn't feel as vivid, or as kind of like, and the thing that I like about I Became Birds is that you think you know what it's about, but you can't be too sure because it's ambiguous and vivid at the same time. So you can imagine a lot
Yeah.
of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure most of the songs are about being transgender on there, but I can't quite confirm it. Although I will forever claim, even if it is or not, that long distance conjoined twins and assisted harakiri are 100% about it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, just as an aside, Assistant Harakiri has the line, "Oh, the treachery of anatomy," which, yeah, mood.
I just thought now she leaves him. It kind of just more. I thought that line was kind of more just referring to actually like transitioning, so leaving the old body to a new one. Which is the kind of whole like leaves them like a Bible in a hotel drawer. It's kind of like no longer touching the old body.
Yeah.
like leaves to a tray, they fall to the ground,
Yeah.
never to be touched or seen again, raked by the
Okay.
coals and the spines of inhumanity.
Okay.
I've
Tika.
seen things you could never believe. Starships on fire outside. I forget the fucking lyrics. Or the
the,
fucking
the shoulder of
lines.
Orion.
Starships burst in flames over the shoulder of Orion. Like teardrops in the rain. I fucking forget.
Like tears and rain. Moments, something, something. Yeah. The speech in Blade Runner that's way more philosophical than most of Blade Runner's script.
Yeah.
Um,
I still fucking love Blade Runner though.
yeah, this isn't a Blade Runner podcast.
No, it's not.
But so I don't advocate usually becoming enamored with a leader, and I think the Bob Dylan song is a good reason why. Like when you're saying Bob Dylan's your best friend, your leader, your dealer, your comrade, your mom, your dad, like you're in way too deep.
Yeah.
It's Bob fucking Dylan. He's cool. He's important. But there are much more interesting revolutionary artists you can form an attachment. But I guess who am I to say? Who am I to criticize the way someone's brain fell across an artist?
Mm.
It just seems Bob Dylan, huh? All right.
Look, I think this is an EP just compared to like for what else we've done in this week. I'm gonna put everything before I do the full ranking into like two halves. Seriously, like I said before, and I'll stress enough. I don't think there's any, in my opinion, bad thing that we're covering. But there is, for me, a top three and a bottom three.
I agree with you, but mine are very different, I think.
Yeah, and this one's just kind of in the bottom three for me.
Oh, I have like three categories, like the bottom two, which really aren't like bottom two, middle two, and the top two.
This one's probably the top of the bottom three for me, but like, I feel if it was I Became Birds, that would
Oh,
be at the highest because
Yeah.
I've mentioned it to Trix before and everything, and I can't remember if I mentioned it on the podcast or to you, Dominic, but I pretty much come to the conclusion that I consider I Became Birds a 10 out of 10 now.
yeah, that was brought up in the episode that I wasn't there for. I remember editing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I was quite shocked by that statement, but it's cool.
Mm.
The first 2021 project
But
to be a 10 out of 10.
but I am also rating it as an EP, not as an album.
I would rate it
Yeah.
as an album.
Maybe a 9 or an 8 because it's a bit too short and could have more done with it. Probably a 9 as an album.
Interesting. Yeah, I really like the CP. I really think it's a great way to start. It's not I Became Birds, obviously, but it still captures some of that spirit, some of that fire. It's just not as channeled or as searing as it will become. But I still don't think that necessarily takes away from how good Home Is Where is. Yeah, they found their sound, they found their way of doing things. It took a release or two, but everything was always there.
Yeah.
Like you can listen to this and be like, this is Home Is Where for sure.
Yeah.
The Jeff
I
Mangum
could
is
definitely agree
there.
with you.
The Bob Dylan is there. They talk about dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon McDonald's voice is very noticeably like a figure you'd recognize. It's not just some generic poppy voice.
Yeah.
So I dig it. I really like this EP. I don't know what you think,
So-
Trix, but
It's a pretty good EP. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's in my top three to this week, but I enjoyed it.
interesting. Well, if you don't really have anything else to say, I guess we should go into favorites and least favorites.
I think that's fair. Favorites, I mean, I know you're talking about it in the whole like kind of way, but Bob Dylan's probably my favorite. And least favorite, I don't know, maybe let's say Lorraine.
I'm kind of being facetious about it. Like, I do think it's a bit much to do a whole Bob Dylan tribute like that, but it's still a decent song on its own.
Yeah.
My favorite is probably gonna be I like Alabama. I like Bob Dylan. Cicada Summer, I still have yet to like really
Cicada
figure out.
Summer.
Cicada. And Seth Meyers' new theater.
Who the fuck
play.
says cicada?
That's how we say it in the States.
Your country is fucked.
Seth Meyers has a whole
Yeah, we
bit
know.
about it. I defer to him. It's Cicada.
Cicada.
But yeah. Probably something like I'll say Summer might be my least favorite, but it's not a bad song at all. Or maybe Cicada Summer, whatever. But since we're talking about Home Is Where, we might as well talk about Glass Beach as well. Because Brandon McDonald's kind of become the curator of fifth wave emo in a way.
Yeah.
Because if I was reading correctly, Brandon's the one who kind of popularized the term and the usage of fifth wave emo, and created some controversy of like what is considered and what is not considered.
Yeah.
I might do the introduction on this one actually, because I think I've been the one who's talking about Glass Beach the longest.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, so I actually discovered this band when Run for Cover wouldn't fucking shut up about them because they're signed to the band and or signed to the label, sorry. And this was around a time where I discovered Origami Angel, and actually around that time those two were touring together at house shows and stuff, so they are kind of relevant. Home Is Where obviously put out this EP in 2019 as well, so they're all kind of put out music around the same time, blah blah blah, the same scene, and
2019. That's right. Yep. Damn.
And Glass Beach put out this album called The Very First Glass Beach album, and I think I actually downloaded it for free off Bandcamp because it's a pay what you want, and I was a cheap fuck, so I'm like, I'm paying nothing.
Interestingly, I don't
Which-
think Brandon McDonald puts Origami Angel in that fifth wave emo category, or at least not in a prominent way, and I don't know why.
Brandon, go fuck himself, son.
Like, come on.
This
I love Game Gang. It's a great
Origami
album.
Angel is fifth wave emo.
I mean, I didn't see it in the playlist that they had curated or the big post that they had made, but maybe they just didn't get to it yet.
But
Yeah.
I can actually remember the first time I ever listened to the Glass Beach record, and it's pointless as shit, not a cool story. I was literally just put it on the way home from work because I think it was a Black Friday sale or something on Bandcamp. It was pay what you want. I literally just downloaded it, put it onto my phone straight from my work computer. So, and that's probably one of the reasons that laid me off. And whole 2-hour trip home, I'm like, I'm gonna go put this album on, and I wasn't quite sure how to start. I was like, hey, I was told this is an emo record, and it doesn't really start off too heavy or hit. It's kind of more poppy, which is the kind of weird thing about it.
It's very show
And then-
tuney first.
But the fucking album truly fucking hit for me when Neon Glow started, and that one just hit on first listen.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of moment where I finally got into this record, and I put Neon Glow in my top 40 for that year, even though I think it's technically November 2018, but who fuck cares? Even though I do try to not hold to that a bit more, but it was just a kind of very interesting project, and it was the kind of that was the stuff I was listening to around that time. Obviously, we had kind of we were kind of doing the podcasts in 2019, so
Yeah.
Could have brought it up then, but not a big deal. that we
could
did.
have. I think I was always kind of planning to, but I was always like, I kind of want to stick with the Aussie one, so I guess we'll see. Now that I've kind of broken away from that, I still didn't pick this.
Yeah,
this
I
is
mean,
Dominic's pick.
I picked it because you picked Origami Angel and you talked about Glass Beach. I picked it because you picked Stomach Book and you still talked about Glass Beach. I think you
Yeah.
talked about Glass Beach a handful of other times and other places on the podcast, or just
I
in
also
talking.
downloaded one of their songs to play on Clone Hero, the title
Yeah.
track.
So I figured I like Stomach Book a lot. Let's listen to Glass Beach.
You love Home as well. You love Stomach Book. You love Origami Angel. This one was going to be up your alley, and now we get to find out. Was it up your alley, Dominic?
Eh.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
You think it'd be a slam dunk, but
Oh man.
So this album starts out really strong. I really like Classic J Dies and Goes to Hell Part 1. Great song. Love that. Bedroom
Yeah.
Community. Fucking banger. Love that too. I love the energy.
If
I
you
love the
fucking hate
multi-phase as
Neon
it
Glow,
goes.
I'm leaving this. I don't care that you don't like this album, because I'm not the biggest fan of this album either. I think you're right, it can drag at some points and shit like that. But if you fucking go at Neon Glow, I'm walking out of here.
You know, I don't even have I don't
say-
even have an opinion on
say
Neon
no
Glow.
more.
My issue kind of after Bedroom Community is that it goes into an interlude track forever, which is fine. And I did take the time to learn how many question marks are actually in the title. It's 9.
Nice.
But then it kind of just stays in like a really light tone that I don't really find interesting or really dig. And it kind of stays there for a while.
I will do my first agreement with you. Interludes on this album, there are too much.
Like Forever, Bone Skull, Neon Glow, Cold Weather are probably...
Bone Skull should be the interlude there. It shouldn't be Forever. It should be Bone Skull into Neon Glow, because that's a great contrast that flows well between the ending of Bone Skull and the start of Neon Glow.
Is the Bone Skull the one that just ends and Neon Glow just begins, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that was at least interesting. But like, Calico is at least kind of fun and cute because it's about cats and everything, and according to Classic J, the cat is trans because most calicos are female and it's a male in the song.
Yeah.
And we also should mention as well, one of the big things, and maybe this is why Home and Swear also was putting this into this kind of called fifth wave kind of stuff, because this band is majority trans.
Yes, 3 of them.
Yeah.
3 out of 4s, and
Yes.
I mean Home and Swear also has 2 out of 4.
2?
I think out of all the
Yes, now yes.
yeah, I don't know if when they put the record what it was, but
I think it was just
I
the
don't know.
1. But I don't know
But-
everyone's histories, of course.
Yeah. Origami Angel, I don't think has any. I mean, that is a duo, so it is probably a bit less of a room. But
Is that why Brandon doesn't do it?
small.
Because they don't fit in the queer community?
Maybe it wasn't a fifth wave emo playlist. Maybe it was a trans emo playlist, and you got.
No, it was it was literally like the definitive fifth wave emo. Like
maybe I
Brandon made it very academic sounding. But either way,
Yeah.
like I like Calico a bit. I like kind of Glass Beach a bit, and then like the middle part of the album is really just kind of like my brain just kind of tunes it out and just keep going. And I start.
I like the title track. It is very disjointed though. I will admit on that.
But then like my brain kind of picks up again with like the ending of Dallas, kind of Rat Castle, Planetarium at least is kind of ear catching and like the weird vocoder stuff. But then we get to like the last few tracks, and then I start to really pay attention again. Like Soft, Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Island's actually kind of interesting, kind of being a more tropical, happy song, but very clearly about trans issues, of course.
Yeah.
And then Orchids is fantastic. Orchids is like my top 3 songs are Classic J, Bedroom Community, and Orchids. And that's like a sheer cliff drop off for the next song.
Now, you said on the playlist there was no Origami Angel.
I did not see it.
I mean, I guess not on Brandon's, but there is one at home as where is subscribed to. I guess that's with fifth wave emo. It has 95 songs, and Nutrient Inspector's on there.
Right. Okay, I didn't see that one, but yeah, I was just curious why.
So maybe they haven't done a playlist, but Origami Angel is considered a part of the fifth wave emo movement.
Absolutely, it should be. But yeah, I'm disappointed, I guess, that I don't like this album as much as I feel like I should, because I think it's impressive. I really dig how much it tries to do and does, and how there's so many different genres being attempted here. And from the way the interviews I read and everything were going, where like we're talking about, they workshop these songs in so many different genres that they just fit the parts they liked best together. And
I'm actually looking at this playlist, and there's some interesting additions to it. There's Awake But Still in Bed, which is actually that album was actually in 2018, so it was a little before, so I guess you could call it like a bit of a precursor. But it's also Parano on it.
Yeah. Brandon put Paranol
Analog
on the record.
Sentimentalisms.
Yeah. Which I thought was really cool. Like, you listen to Paranol, but not Origami Angel. I get it.
Yeah, but there's a couple of other. I was gonna say there was No Harmony Woods, but now I've just seen it. Yeah, maybe it's. Can we just message them and just say, hey, could you put Nutrient Inspector on?
I did Twitter ask them, like, where would you put Origami Angel?
Yeah.
No response.
Now here's one that I kind of disagree with, but I guess they put on Camp Cope.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Camp Cope's definitely pop punk, and they're definitely got emo tints to them. So I'm not trying to go at that, or even like a lot of people in Australia do. You go at the quality of that, but I don't think I would put it with the fifth wave. I think it's more just Aussie pop punk.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really probably listened to Camp Cope. I know there was
we don't really have emo artists emo's still popular here, but we don't really have that kind of emo. We have a different kind of pop punk. I know there's similarities and stuff. It's not like we originated it or anything here.
Right. I mean, like, can you really call Paranol fifth wave emo though?
I guess not really.
Like,
I would have called Paranormal shoegaze.
Yeah. So it's a nebulous collection of stuff. Like, hard to pin down exactly what it is sometimes, perhaps, and that's kind of true of a lot of genres.
Although I'll give points to putting on Sagan, Indiana from the Camp Cope, like, because I've listened to How to Socialize and Make Friends. I think it's a boring as shit album. I get that there's like important parts that get taken onto theirs, especially like assaults at festivals and stuff like that. I think there's also a lot of whining that happens on the other tracks, and most importantly, no real music. But there is good songs on there, and Sagan, Indiana is one of them.
But I just find it interesting that, you know, we have these questionable additions, Origami. Hey.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It shouldn't bother me, but I just wouldn't put that album, especially as fifth wave emo. It just doesn't really feel like it to me.
And it's like, and Brandon doesn't have to respond to me at all, but I did also talk to Stomach Book, and Jibble did respond to me. So.
Oh wow.
She was asking, like, should I remaster Stomach Book? And people seem to be saying, yeah, like, if you do it, just like put it out aside the original version. And she was like, yeah, kind of like Twin Fantasy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but don't like re-record the whole thing because I like the original version.
It's like remastering. Just do it again in a couple years. Done.
Yeah, like coast on this one now and like get the money from it and everything. Like
Yeah.
ride that shit because it's good. But yeah, I can't remember another album on the podcast where I've liked the beginning of the album so much and I've had it completely drop off so dramatically, only for it to come back in the end in like a really just steep U shape.
It seems like this is really an album that you wanted to like a lot more than you actually did.
Well, yeah, everything really like would pinpoint me as liking this album. Gami Gang is literally my album of the year still. Love Home Is Where. I Became Birds, I think is still, yeah, it's definitely in my top 10. Stomach Book in my top 10. Stomach Book also is about deconstructing genres and doing a bunch of different stuff and throwing it like spaghetti at the wall and kind of seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
And yeah, I find that so much more appealing and interesting. And this is really good, and then it just peters out for a long time. There's like good moments here and there, but nothing really appeals in the same way.
Yeah.
Although the interesting thing is that whilst all these artists that we kind of talked about put out, like what we are pretty much considering are quintessential. I don't know what the fucking term is.
Essential.
Yeah, that's the one. Kind of acts of fifth wave emo. They've all put out stuff this year, and Glass Beach has kind of been, besides putting out covers and remixes, pretty quiet.
They talked about doing the second album. Apparently, it's in the works, but
the second Glass Beach album.
Yeah, but I think COVID and everything kind of got in the way of that. Now they're doing the tour finally that they had to postpone. So it will be interesting seeing them live since we're doing that. Trix and I think this would be really interesting to see live. I am very hyped to see it live.
I think they play a lot heavier live as well.
I think they do a lot of different stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to mention that I absolutely love this album.
Yes, please go on about it. This appeals more to you, I think.
Yeah, I was just listening. This week I've just spent a lot of time sitting on my stoop listening to this album, and honestly, it's been great experiences. Yeah, I couldn't. The album ran together in like a really good way, but like I can point out songs and stuff, but I just not a low moment on it for me.
I love that we have such. You two seem to have similar-ish opinions, and it's like if I listen to it like
I'm in between you
a ton of times, maybe I could
I think
learn to
the
love
album's got it. Well, I think the album still does have its faults. I think there are a lot of dragging interludes and stuff in there, and some of the songs, yeah, you're right, kind of just like a bit in the middle of it. I do like it more than you, but I don't like it as much as Trix. We're kind of like all varied on this.
I guess I thought you'd liked it more because you had it in like your top 10 and stuff, and songs.
I don't have it in my.
The songs must have been high then.
I only had Neon Glow in my top 40.
Oh, okay. I guess I don't even have.
I don't have the album in my top 10. I can go through. I don't even have it in my top 20 for 2019.
Okay, fair enough. I overestimated how much you seem to like it, but that's fine.
No. I like the album. It doesn't mean I was the hugest fan. I mean,
maybe for how many times it got brought up in conversation, I was like, oh. Yeah. Must be like.
Well, it is one of the more important releases of fifth wave emo. That's just about it.
Yeah.
And from the songs that I like, I can definitely see how that is. Like the way I keep saying like the way the Classic J dies and goes to hell is so. I love the way it starts with like the somber singing, and then it gets really hype, and then it gets into that really jazzy interlude kind of thing where it sounds like an anime going to commercial break or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes into the singing part of it and how it gets to show tuning again. Like there's so many layers to it, and the music video actually really helps it a lot. The music video actually is really, really great.
I haven't seen it.
I posted it in the chat a couple days ago, but
yeah, I wouldn't have that at the time, unfortunately.
It's fine. It's Classic J is giving like a seminar, and of course they're late. And then they give the seminar, and it's just the song, and it just gets crazier and crazier, and then Classic J dies and goes to hell.
Yeah, hell yeah. Rip J.
Would love to see what a bedroom community music video would be like. I think that'd be really interesting. Yeah, Run for Cover Records really seemed to hype this band up. Like there is a 90-minute documentary on YouTube about them that I did not watch.
Oh.
I still think my favorite ever Reddit post was that whole like that interview thing that I shared,
Yeah.
and that was like everyone was doing this whole when they were posting like during their album of the year posts for like albums. This person got glass speech, and like everyone else had written like one or two paragraphs and stuff. This dude posted a whole fucking interview with the band.
That interview was actually really good and like enlightening in
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
Mm.
I like the dynamic of like Lane constantly having to like talk about the album, and Lane is not in the band at the time when the album came out.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, I'm interpreting things and just going along with it. I enjoy these songs. I agree with the content. It's like you're really trying your best, buddy. I appreciate that. But it's an album I did really expect to love more than I did.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
I would love to hear Cassio Dad and see what inspired the group to come together, because the Cassio Dad songs are just so good that the other two, William and Jonas, like went from Minnesota to Los Angeles, and they all started living together and doing this album.
Yeah.
So it's like what is Cassio Dad? What was the chiptune music Cassio Dad was doing that was so inspiring? I'd love to know.
Favorites and least favorites, Dominic?
Favorites are Classic J Dies and Goes to Hell, Bedroom Community, and Orchids. Least favorite, Bone Skull.
Favorite's definitely Neon Glow. No, it's never going to change. Dallas is also an underappreciated track. I'm going to guess Dominic wasn't too big of a fan of it, but
But yeah, I think of Dallas I liked.
Yeah.
Least favorite, yeah, there is too many interludes in this thing. Come on, Trix.
I really love this album. I don't have any least favorites. This thing, it's just a solid album front to back. Obvious highlights are like Neon Glow, Classic J, Dies and Goes to Heaven or Hell, and just the whole. Not a bad song off the album.
What are we moving on to next? I know we got 3 EPs. I don't want to do all 3 of those EPs in a row.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
So let's get
Pinkish Blue out of the way.
Yeah, let's
Pinkish
get Pinkish Blue. Now, I'm listening. When I had this couple at the start and brought this up, I had this as my number 5 EP currently of the year. I've moved that down now to 10 because it's not as good as I still like it more than you two do. That's just.
Yeah.
You don't even know how much I like it. You're claiming that right now, which I think is funny.
Well, how much you love it because it's fucking queer as shit, don't you?
It's number 6 for me.
Okay, cool.
It's number 6 for me too. So.
I look. I'm happy to die on the hill that Backward is a fantastic track.
Yeah.
Backwards like the best song on there.
Oh, it absolutely is. I think when you found out the post that apparently they played their last live show and stuff, the kind of whole point of this being their potential kind of showing on Case is now kind of died out the window.
Yeah, I was surprised to find that their last show was in October, and for all we know, Pinkish Blue is just done.
And look, I wouldn't be surprised if another EP comes out, and I have already had the other 2 EPs ahead.
Well,
Nox is out of my top 10, but you can say what you're gonna say.
Oh, I mean, just an EP in general. Got you. Okay. Well, because I was gonna say, the thing that I was reading about with this band is that they got signed to like such a big label so quickly that I think they just lost what potential identity they would have had. Because they were talking about how they had a whole punk EP ready to go, and then they did a song a couple years ago that Loveless or something like that. That was like a pop song, and they're like, okay, we're gonna be a pop band now.
And I will say, like, the singles on here, Starter Band, Old Blue, and Backward are still, like, the songs I like on here. I kind of liked Over Me and Cop Cars on the kind of first listens, but they're kind of really not growing anymore. They're kind of just, like, falling a bit flat on there.
Yeah.
There are some things that I think are some negatives about this album. Like, I came into this one liking it a bit more than I did kind of going out, and that's okay. That's just how music goes.
Yeah.
I think there is at sometimes they've definitely tried to use auto-tune as an effect here, but sometimes they use it a little too much and it doesn't quite work. I think it works in Backward. I think Backward's a fantastic song, so I'll be having no back chat about that song.
My problem my problem is that they just try too hard to become 21 Pilots at a point.
Yeah.
I don't fully disagree, but I don't fully agree either.
Like, not all the songs are like that, but I don't know if it's Old Blue that really sparks it for me, but at a certain point, it really just feels like that pop direction they went in was not really what they were meant to go in. Just did it because it probably sold better or something. Like, I really think this is a band that was manipulated for its music. Like, what was it? I think I was reading.
I can't think you can say sold better when this band hasn't really been selling much at all.
No, it hasn't. Maybe that's also the reason why they stopped. Who knows?
Maybe. Yeah.
But
they haven't had any hits or anything like that. This is a pretty underground band.
But the thing I was reading about Glass Beach that I really enjoyed was how Jay and them were talking about how it was a passion project, and how Lane had been in other bands that were more about marketability, kind of choosing songs that were not their passion but were more marketable on the albums that they made. So having that struggle of, do I want to just treat this as a career? Do I want to treat it as an artistic passion? And that just reminded me of this band, and because I feel like this EP is kind of the epitome of, like, there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of ideas that they have and a lot of ways that they could go, but they just chose the most banal, like, marketable pop idea I feel like they could have gone with.
One thing I will mention is the title. People just do good things sometimes. This is a kind of reference to their last EP as well, which the title of that is There's No Such Thing as Good People. I haven't actually heard their last EP. Apparently discovered this band in 2019 because I have Scrubbles of Capricorn from there, and it didn't hit me then. Backward was the first one that got my interest. Started Band, I like that song, but I don't think it's...
Oh, the chorus of Started Band kind of annoyed me.
That's fair. I don't think it's going to be my top 200, that song. I think Backward's probably going to be the only one that's there. But I think Backward generally hasn't... it's in contention for my top 10. I don't know. It's something... Maybe this is a band that has the Hobo Johnson effect. They really walk the line between irritable and fantastic.
If you say so.
Well, for you guys, it seems to have hit the irritable.
It's just
fair. It's just fucking fair. Like I get it. Like, I don't hate the EP. I personally, I don't know. For me, I guess. Maybe this is me just being very poppy for once in my life, I guess.
I mean, you can have your poppy moment. That's fine.
Yeah, it's not a phase, mum.
I just feel like kind of like you mentioned, like there is some queerness even here that I feel like could have brought them in an interesting direction. At least judging from, like, the Old Blue video and everything, they were willing to go in, like, although I think that video might more be about accepting loss now that I think about it. But either way, they do some, like, cross-dressing type of subject matter, bringing up kind of in a way I feel like that was similar to Rainbow Kitten Surprise a little bit. But it's so ambiguous and hard to know that, again, I just get the feeling this was a band that was stifled by a lot of economic and not artistic decisions. And that's completely me. That's completely me, like, fabricating everything. But that's just the feeling I get.
They are on a small label that is signed to a larger label, so maybe there is definitely traces of that. We can only know as much as we do, because if we look at the actual credits, it's 123 Music / Sony Music. So one of those is big, and one of them's the actual small subsidy of it that they're actually signed to. So it's not like they're on a big label, but it's also not like that small label is completely independent either. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe there is a bit more economic on here. I personally think it doesn't matter too much. I think they still showed some promise on here. Nothing absolutely fantastic. And this isn't an EP I'll go out of the way and say, oh, you need an indie pop rock kind of EP to listen to. You got to go onto here. For this year, I'd probably give that to the Beach Bunny or even the fanclbwallet, which is we'll obviously cover soon, very soon this day.
This recording very soon.
I think it's a bit harsh. I think they are a little bit more... I know they have a very kind of joyless vocal performance, it kind of sounds like. And it works... I mean, in Backward it works, because they have the kind of contrast at the end where they start to get a bit more shouty and stuff.
Yeah, that song works really well.
And I can get it with the other ones. And like I'm saying, the non-single songs on here... I mean, and I can get the chorus and Start a Band. who knows? Who knows if I even have this in my top EPs by like the end of the week? Because like,
What I thought was
the songs
interesting.
that
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I can see the parts that annoy on this EP, and some of them are starting to annoy me as well. I think there's still quite a bit of an interest of this, and to be honest, this was something I kind of picked because I thought Pinkish Blue was still together.
That's fair. But the thing I thought was interesting was like looking at the YouTube views and looking at like the Spotify listens. Like the singles obviously have the most listens, the most views out of all of them. But Cop Cars really, really getting ignored.
I know, that's on Spotify, that's got less than 3,000, and the next best on there has Old Blue. Like the next worst is Old Blue, which is 18,000.
Yeah, the beginning. So
it's weird.
Over Me, I think, has some lower ones as well, because Over Me is the other album specific one. But yeah, like Cop Cars, for whatever reason, people are turning off after Start a Band or during Start a Band, I feel like.
Well, I mean, Start a Band was a single and stuff, and I think this is more of a case where people saw Over Me and added that to like shortlist and stuff, and it wasn't really much of a play, and people didn't really give this EP a full listen. I think Cop Cars shows how many people have actually listened, how many times the EP has actually been listened to in full.
Probably, and it's not that.
I don't. Cop Cars is the worst song off this album, so I don't think anyone's ever gone and listened to it on its own.
Yeah, it's. I don't even remember it right now.
Yeah, it's completely forgettable.
How about you, Trix? Why is it your number 6?
I just did not vibe with it. It was just.
It gave me a bad aura.
I kind of felt generic. Nothing really that set it apart. It was just kind of milk toast compared to everything else.
Like, I fully admit that I probably like kind of got blindsided just by that one great song, but I will fucking die on the hill that Backward is a fantastic track.
Yeah, it's a pretty good song.
I like the weeks when you pick something that is hitting with the rest of us. It shows that you're human too.
I've already picked your whole top 10 anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter.
But it shows that you're human too.
Hey, at least one of my picks is in it, so.
Yeah, are any of my picks in my own top 10?
Because I know you have Shaky Graves in your top 10 still.
I do.
Little Nas X and Left at London were both your picks.
And those are 9 and 10.
Yeah, Shaky Graves was Trix, and then the remaining 7 are all mine.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed out that Joyrider is not going to make the top 10.
It's going to be in my top 10. It's going to be in my top 5 at the very worst.
It's probably going to be in my top 5 too.
I really like Joyrider, but I like these other albums more.
I still don't know what my number 1 is. Like, it's so much fighting for that. I'm kind of just like surprised Mogwai is kind of like stuck as your number 2 though.
Like, I don't even know how to describe what I like about it. You know what I mean? It's that phenomenon of this, whatever reason, just really fucks for me, and I just can't question it. And it's just gonna be there.
Seeming as we're talking about other stuff now, I think we can leave Pinkish Blue. Favorite track on here is Backward, and it's incredible. I love it.
And the least favorite's Cop Cars.
Least favorite's Cop Cars.
I agree.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Do we want to do one more of my EPs, or do we want to do Boyscott?
Let's do Boyscott.
Let's do Boyscott.
His album's cute.
I think kind of looking into this, here's the controversial thing, blah blah blah. Here's the bottom 3. So obviously we can put Pinkish Blue into my bottom 3 because I have Glass Beach in my top 3. Do I put Boyscott in my bottom 3? Yeah, but I put it above Pinkish Blue.
Yeah.
I just think this album's really cute. I think this is another example of someone doing this in like high school, college, doing it in their free time, learning how to record and mix and master and all that stuff, and then forming a band out of it, which is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, there was nothing bad about this album, but I think it's like the same issues of Pinkish Blue, but it's a lot more consistent in it.
I like the instrumentation. I think there's a lot of complexity, and a lot of the guitar tones end up sounding really unique and interesting, even though they're not. Like there'll be a guitar tone that plays, and I probably heard it on a ton of other indie stuff, but it feels nice here. It feels number one like the album cover looks. It feels very naturist and very of the mountains, despite not really being like an Appalachian country kind of album.
It gives off kind of like Pacific Northwest lake vibes.
Yes, like this is a guy that wears like tan khaki shorts all the time and just hikes. Always wears like a North Face coat, even in the summer.
I mean, Sleepwalk starts like a Taiko song.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's relaxing.
There's some interesting thing. It is trying to be a pop album and an indie pop album, and it succeeds in doing that. I think it doesn't invent the wheel or even reinvent it at any point of this. I think what they do is fine, and it's a consistent record. That's pretty much the album in a nutshell. One thing I did notice is that it's very soft of a record.
Yes, and I like that. I like that it's soft.
I would like to take a mention in a second about how I just kind of discovered this album and why I've stuck with it. I'll let Dominic finish what he was going to say first, though, before I interrupted him.
I just wanted to talk about how much I don't like the lyrics in some of these songs, but you can go ahead first.
Okay. It was like winter 2018. I was picking up my grandfather for dinner and grocery shopping or something like that. And this just came on the radio, I think after a Petite League song, and just Nova Scotia 500, and just that intro lift with the ba-na-na-na-na-na with just feeling like the heat coming off of my car with the cooled air going in through the door to my grandfather, and I'm like, yeah, this is just good. I'm liking this.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a nice memory to have, I think.
Yeah.
I think
not much more memories there.
My issue just comes down to songs like Rip Sophie More, which the whole thing of Sophie No More, You're Just a Sophomore makes me want to groan and die.
Yeah.
Like, that's a very high school thing that, I think this is so cool. Let me put it in my song.
Hey guys, I made a pun.
And like, I also, given the fact that this album came out in 2015 and was remastered in 2019 to some degree, or at least re-released, I, for some reason, immediately thought it was related to Sophie, the artist who had passed.
Gotcha.
Which I was very confused for a second.
Yeah.
But the fun thing is that this is a CD. This is a vinyl you can get at like a Target or a Walmart, which is shocking to me.
I didn't realize. I'll have to check out my local Walmart.
Like I would like. Like when I do my Google searches, it's not too often I see something like this pop up on like the Walmart website.
That's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, you're going for the whole Pinkish, but you're going for the economy. But I mean, like, I think the least popular song off this album has more plays than the most popular Pinkish blues song in general.
Well, yeah, this is an album that has like millions of views per song.
Yeah.
At least on Spotify. This is an album that's really become some kind of like underground indie hit, I think, because it got re-released on a like Top Shelf Records.
Yeah.
TikTok might also have something to do with it.
Yeah,
as usual.
TikTok trends. I didn't really get into Nova Scotia 500 as much, but I did kind of like the last leg of the album, Killer Whale. I really liked Lake House, embarrassingly enough. I thought those were really kind of where the album hit its peak and became something that I thought was interesting and really effective.
I do love that there's just kind of like a real shitty Casio keyboard solo in the very last song.
Yes, I love that. How it just ends in just like this noise, and it almost kind of sounds like a thing maybe like Jeff Mangum would do on a bad day, but
yeah,
still that fun idea of this is a way to end an album, I guess.
Yeah.
I remember at some point this week I had turned the album off because I was like at work or something, and I turned it on again, and it was just the solo. And then the album was over.
That's ominous.
Hell yeah.
I don't really have a ton to say at this point. I just think it's a really cute album, and I really just kind of thought it was nice and dug it for that.
I'll fully agree.
Like I might like it more than you think based on me saying that. I could really see me listening to this over and over and kind of really getting to know the songs.
Yeah,
but I think
it's a great shower album.
The thing I will say about this week that it really comes down to for me is that I think we have a lot of great number 2s and a few good number 3s on a normal episode. But I do not have a thing I would really classify as a number 1.
Fair enough.
Like I found one eventually, but I think it is almost just by. This is the closest thing I don't have any major problems with. So it's by number one by decision and not by heart.
Gotcha.
A lot of good vibes. It's almost chill to the level of like the XX. I will probably say, not quite to that degree, but I love the XX. So maybe that's kind of why I was into this.
Yeah.
Favorites are probably somewhere like Killer Whale. Embarrassingly enough, like House. Least favorites Rip Selfie more.
Favorite Sleepwalk, because I like that kind of taiko sounding intro.
I like Sleepwalk as well.
Yeah.
I don't really have a least favorite, but I might just agree with Rip Sophie more because that is giving me a fucking groan.
I don't have a least favorite. This is just a really fun album for me. I quite like it. Earlier in the year, I just kind of like rediscovered it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot how fucking good this album is. So
it's
yeah,
very good. It's very good at creating an atmosphere, kind of just off the bat with Sleepwalk.
Yeah,
it kind of just immerses you in a vibe, and it's that vibe or nothing. So, yeah.
Now I want to end this podcast by giving Trix PTSD. So let's move on to Bread Club.
Okay.
Bread Club, fantastic EP. Love this EP.
Yeah. This is a great EP.
So this song I actually got introduced to by my friend because he used to work with, I think, the guitarist, maybe he was the bassist, for this band. He used to work at a drag bar with them.
Interesting.
And I discovered them. I want a fucking petition to fucking get this band's original EP back online. They've completely taken it off. And it had this song on it called Bedside Table, which is an absolute fucking tune. And it's gone. And I've messaged them and they said, like, hey, I messaged my friend and said, hey, can you get them to get this EP back? And I said, like, they will send you the files. I'm like, all right, here's my email. And I haven't gotten a fucking email. Give me the files. I want Bedside Table back.
Follow up. Get the files. We'll cover it on the podcast.
I'll fucking get it back.
I would love to hear more from this band.
Yeah, this was really good.
But there was the next track that they released, which finally hit again, which is Criminal Mind, which I actually put that in my top 100 of 2019 as well, because that was an actual fucking tune. I've actually had people on the Oz Music Discord who've found this band. I think it's only one actually, and it was fucking, I don't know, just kind of like they were listening to it. It's like, hey, this band's cool. It's like, hey, I know who they are, but I've never met them. And yeah, this EP came out. I kind of got teased of this though when I was doing that request for finding that. They actually said like they can either get the files or they can wait for the even better Bread Club EP coming out later this year. And I saw that, I'm like, ooh, and this is it, and it is better.
I mean, it's probably better. I would love to hear the other EP though, because I just want to hear more.
Yeah.
Bread and Butter, I'm gonna put on my fucking top 100. I swear that song's so fucking.
Yeah.
It's got the right name.
I do have like a couple things about this EP, and only in that like Curfew sounds like the song that the Lonely Island would make fun of.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Like it almost sounds like a Justin Timberlake Andy Samberg collaboration.
There is definitely some cheese in this EP, but I think they work with it.
I mean, it's bread and butter and cheese. What else you got?
Yeah.
And then Predictable, I think, is like Sophie Moore. The lyrics are a bit much, and I do not enjoy them.
So for the person who worked in the drug bar, it's the person with the curly hair. You actually notice the picture that they have on Spotify. I'm pretty sure that's taken in Newtown.
The one in the center?
Yeah, the one in the center.
Did you happen to read the origins of the band that I put in the chat?
Probably read it a while ago, but I've completely forgotten since.
Just how they were working at a bakery, and then they found the one guy in the dumpster out back, swimming in piles of bread.
I can believe it.
It's a joke, like origin story, but it was very fun to read. Like they have a good sense of humor. They know what they're doing. I am very interested in following this band further because holy shit, I did not expect this after listening to fanclbwallet and Pinkish Blue.
Yeah,
this is the last one.
I figured I had to put it. I haven't done much. I mean, I don't think I've done anything in this kind of style since we did Donny Benet.
No, and I missed it.
No, yeah.
This is like I love this kind of. I love disco, like synth disco stuff like this.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it Bread and Butter or Queen Upon My Throne? It's probably Queen Upon My Throne. That kind of sounds like a like a Monkey Ball track even,
Yeah, a little
I've,
bit. I
I've
can see
never
that.
really played much Monkey Ball, so I
or is it
can't tell you.
like a Sega themed kind of spacey?
Yeah,
It's
I
futuristic
get what
almost.
I
Yeah,
get what you're saying. As the
Totally green.
reigning monkey ball expert here.
hurry
It'd probably be
up!
green upon my throw.
10,
9,
9,
8,
8,
7,
7,
6,
6,
5,
5,
4.
4,
Hurry
3,
up!
2, 1. Game over.
Fallout.
But still, for a bit, I mean, this has a lot less plays than Pinkish Blue or anything does. I would say
is a
the
shame.
production, well, the production is as good as that,
Yeah, like
and this is definitely on a lower tier record label.
we'd love to see Donnie Benet collaborate with these guys.
Yeah.
Johnny Benet's definitely been around for a lot longer. It's probably in a bit of a difference. I guess it's hard to say scene, but like I fully agree. I don't know what the chances of that are though.
Like it'd be a collaboration of my dreams. I
The girl of your dreams.
need to buy this EP. Is what it comes down
Yeah.
to. Like I bought Glass Beach and Boyscott, but I need to buy this EP.
The goal for Dominic by the end of the day.
Well, they don't have a band camp, which they should have a band camp, especially if there's this underground. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, they do have the label, I guess, that they are signed to. So maybe it's if we can search up what label are they on? Mosaic Records. I think it's how you say it. Mozaick Records. They have a record store apparently, and you can get a Bread Club shirt.
Hell yeah!
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'll put it with my Weekend Run Club shirt.
we can get tube socks.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Tubes of bread.
See releases, and do they have a digital way of getting Bread Clubs? No, it's only on Spotify, which kind of sucks.
That
They
does
have the
suck.
singles and stuff.
Wonder if it's on
Come
iTunes
on.
at all.
I would be surprised if it's not.
I'll have to get it on iTunes eventually then.
But they pretty much this whole label seems to just be Phil Fresh and
Yeah.
Bread Club.
Yeah. Which I think they collaborated at one point because of course they did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, on song Forever.
Yeah. So
Maybe on another song as well. I don't know. I think it's
so there's a lot of cross pollination between the two bands this record has, label has.
Yeah. Oh,
Hopefully
Kwame was also on here, which is but only put on 2 singles, which is weird.
Hopefully they continue to grow and put more artists out there. That'd be cool. Maybe sign one of the James Cherries, get them into something more interesting like this. So they're not just putting out either really bad DJ songs or really bad just pop singer songwriter songs.
They also have a beautiful buttoned up shirt for the Bread Club stuff here, so it's actually like a nice kind of Cuban is what they call it. It's one Phil Fresh tee, and then I mean the Bread Club shirt looks fine. It's green and yeah. Those knee socks.
Going back to the James Cherry thing, I know I just brought it up out of nowhere, but that singer songwriter stuff that we did, where we looked him up, and his songs were very just generic and mediocre. The most fun we had with it was digging up that one EP that he tried to cancel out of existence.
Yeah.
I think that's just another example of like trying to fit that I need to be marketable and commercial. Let me do stuff that is economical and not like what is right for my career or what he thinks is right for his career kind of thing. And that shit really pisses me off.
Let's see if I can find the reason why they took it down. If it's obviously not too confidential on there.
I don't know if that's happening with Bread Club necessarily, but I just from seeing it for Pinkish Blue and all of that.
I'm also gonna have to go through a shit ton of memes to on this chat to find.
Do you know what the title of the EP was?
Club Bread.
That's impossible to Google.
See, here's telling my friend that the growlers are not worth going for. Yes, that's actually on here. This is Spotify Wrapped.
Looking up Club Bread EP. Because like the thing was like for James Cherry, we found at least one of those songs on like an Indian streaming service where we managed to listen to it.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a way we could figure out if this EP is somewhere like that.
So, yeah, I think it's up past here. Maybe it was never even posted as an image. If that's the case, I'm going to be upset.
Is that under like Discogs?
Don't know, to be honest.
Checking now. I care about this only because I think their music is good and I would like to hear.
Yeah, that is absolutely fair. Come on.
Also,
situation.
Should mention there are 2 bread clubs also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one in Australia and the one from San Jose, who was only around in like the early 2010s.
No, so they didn't say much. All that was said, that was, hey, maybe I can send them across, or they can wait for even better Bread Club EP coming in April. That was all that was said. So never got a.
Maybe follow up and be like, "Hey, I liked your EP a lot. Can I please have the tracks for the original?"
I guess you guys can just spam bloody Mosaic Records email and say get Club Bread back on.
Yeah.
It had a really great closing track in Bedside Table. That's all I'm really upset about.
I'm sure it's probably better than Predictable, which is easily my least favorite song on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Favorite song on here? Probably Late Night Fever, Bread and Butter. Yeah, those 2.
Yeah, fantastic opening to the CP. I'm gonna agree with you.
I'm gonna agree also.
All right, let's give Trix some PTSD.
Okay.
I loved this EP.
Dominic didn't, did you?
Yeah, it's fine.
This is I think this is my favorite EP of the 3. I think
of the 4.
4. So I meant the 3. I fucking brought up. You dickhead. I think there's some really strong and vivid songwriting.
Our mouth to smile exists.
I mean,
absolutely.
There's not much lyrically going on in Car Crash and G Major, but like
it is visceral and oh boy.
You say that. You say that. I expected like a really hard-hitting song, a lot of emotion into it, a lot of like dramatics. I was expecting almost something of like Glass Beach level.
I don't think you need to have the fucking emotions to be visual though, and I think that's what the kind of point has in. It's a kind of like just processing in this kind of like not emotional kind of style, but this is kind of just what's happening. And I think the instruments kind of become a lot more emotional than the singing does in this EP, but that's what I like about it.
I guess I was picturing something that was like emotionally making you go through like a car accident, and then I just got an Adult Mom song.
I mean, this is the better Adult Mom release of the year.
I disagree.
I
think
I really love Driver. Let me say, Driver made me cry. This album did not make me cry.
No, it just made you have a panic attack.
Yeah.
I think this EP gets better as it goes.
I want to also just say, Trix, when you buy this off Bandcamp, Car Crash and G Major happens twice on the EP, so you get double the panic.
Oh boy!
So I got rid of it on the 6th one because like I don't need to listen to it again. That's just an extra fucking file. I can just put this on a loop.
I would also like to say they get bonus points for their first ever release being a cover of "This Must Be the Place."
That is cool.
Yeah.
I also like the artwork for the EP. It's just that the car and like the text of the around like the hurt is boring text, but that car is just very weak and menacing in a way.
There was definitely a car kind of theme with this, which is why I call this kind of a bit relevant to Adult Mom. I mean, obviously the Car Crash in G Major. Come On Be Cool also has the single art with the car, with like the toy car. Come On Be Cool is my favorite off here.
And Driver was also about a car accident, so yeah.
Driver really wasn't about a car accident. But...
Car accident did play a big role in it, I thought.
I don't. I don't remember a car accident as much as I do in this one, obviously.
Let me look it up.
So I want to ask about what your 2 thoughts on the song "What's Up" is.
Great song.
Good tune. Great tune.
Probably my favorite.
Cool. Now that we
Yeah.
got that, I get to see these lines. So I was wondering for a while why I like this song as much as I did as well, and I kind of started to realize what the production reminds me of.
Mhm.
Japanese wallpaper. You two have already said you love it, so you can't come back now.
Fine.
Yeah.
I Japanese wallpaper worked when you told me how to listen to it.
I'll have to give Japanese wallpaper another shot, I guess.
Obviously, it was not Gabriel Strum who did own this, but the production on that song really kind of
Quoting
reminds me of a very
quoting from Line of Best Fits discussion of Adult Mom by Connor Lockery. 1 year after
That's
getting
the,
their license, though, Knipe was involved in a traumatic car accident. A giant truck sideswiping on the highway. I was fine, but it was very scary, obviously. I couldn't drive for a long time. I have a neck injury from it years later, too, so I definitely wanted to write about that.
Gotcha.
fair enough.
The car signals freedom, but it can also cause so much damage.
Mhm.
Very vulnerable thing. But
So
yeah,
for Driver
Yeah.
or Fan Club Wallet?
Driver, only because it's more consistent.
No, I meant that story though.
That's for Driver.
That's the Driver, yeah, cool. Because I couldn't remember who Knight was. I can't remember the last names of these people. I can
That's
only
fine.
remember their first names. Stevie and Hannah.
Hannah was the one who had the Crohn's disease flare up for 10 months
Ooh,
and did
not
this
fun.
entire EP in bedridden. That was talked about a lot in the interviews I'd read, which
So
Yeah.
great.
we're
Fantastic.
talking about Garfield and Chris Pratt before this podcast. You seen the amount of Garfield that gets posted in Fan Club Wallet's images?
I did not.
I did not.
They've taken it off the Spotify bio, but I'm pretty sure they had the Garfield phone.
Do
That's
they-
pretty great.
do they- do
Might
they
not have
use
been
they
a phone,
them?
might have been a plus. I don't know. I don't know if if they're gender neutral or not. So I'm just saying something. Makes it easier.
I don't remember off the top of my head right now.
I'd rather play it safe, you know.
Yeah.
That's fair. Instagram
Maybe.
doesn't say.
Don't think it really matters.
No, if I get it wrong, I apologize. Not meant to.
Yeah.
I thought it was just she, her, but I could be wrong.
Probably is, but yeah. I mean, "Come On Be Cool" was the song that I discovered Fan Club Wallet from. I thought it was kind of more of a band just because of how this sounds, and then I was kind of surprised when it was only to one person.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Definitely quite well produced on here. I like just how kind of like I know it's like simple indie rock, but it kind of just hits. It's like one of those songs that kind of has all these little things kind of go in it, and they're not so fascinating or anything, but they kind of just work enough that it really keeps my interest. It's definitely a catchy as fuck song, which is what's important. I mean, "What's Up" is probably the more instrumentally impressive song out of any on this EP, but
Yeah.
for some reason it's like "Come On Be Cool" a lot more.
What's Up and Hurt Is Boring are my favorites, only because I feel like that's when Hannah gets away from the adult mom strict influence and becomes kind of.
I would say "Hurt Is Boring" is my least favorite of this because I like the other kind of cut from this "Flew Away" a lot more, which kind of has that kind of edgier sound to it as well. There's kind of bit that happens in this EP, despite not straying too far from what it does. It's kind of a bit hard to explain. Look, I think the highlight of this will always be giving Trix PTSD because I know how dangerous I can be now.
Don't use it. Don't use your powers for good.
No, I use it for chaos. I must only use this to annoy.
I think my issue just comes down to I feel like a lot of artists kind of go for this sound, so it's hard to really get into it when I feel like I've heard this sound a few different times.
Yeah.
I get that.
And so that's why I appreciated stuff like "What's Up" and "Hurt Is Boring" because I felt like, okay, this is starting to get away from that, become its own thing. I appreciate that more. So, with that in mind, this is somewhere in the middle for me. So I think those are two of my favorite songs. I really think maybe "Car Crash" in G Major or probably "Car Crash" in G Major or "Flew Away" are probably my least favorite.
Say this is 100% the most varied reek that we've ever had, isn't it?
Lucas Koukas, Tenacious D, and Takei Maizda do come to mind.
I
Yeah.
feel like this is going to be more varied because we were pretty much in agreement with TK Mazda, and I feel like our rankings aren't going to be. I think the only thing that's going to be the same is 6th place.
Probably.
Possibly.
I'll let you two go first.
I would say my favorites off here are "Car Crash" and "Come On Be Cool." "What's Up" as well. I don't think it's a bad song on here, but "Hurt Is Boring" is least favorite.
I just love this whole EP, and I definitely do not have a least favorite. I even love Car Crash in G major, despite obviously kind of
God,
being a trigger for me.
You just can't listen to it.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. This
This has been the best vacation ever. Now let's never speak of it again.
Is this the first time we've had a song you actively cannot listen to like that?
I don't know. Like I enjoy it, but like at the same time, it's like it is visceral. It calls back to a dark point in my life. So yeah.
All right, I want to sit back and hear your two rankings.
Nah, Dominic, you have to go first.
Really?
It's up to you now because you're forcing us.
Okay, strap in. I guess get ready.
Let's go.
Strapped.
I had to think about this long and hard. It took me all week to figure this out. Number 6, obviously, Pinkish Blue. I don't find a lot there that I enjoy. Backwards or whatever that song is called is fine.
Don't worry about that.
Number 5, I'll have to give to fanclbwallet. Though I like the 2 songs at the end, I do think the rest of it does kind of sound like a lot of other stuff that we've heard in this podcast, that we've heard elsewhere, Adult Mom especially. So it's kind of a mixed bag in that way. But I do like it more than Pinkish Blue because I do like songs on there. So that's one thing. Number 4, then, I will have to give to Bread Club. I really like this EP. I think it's more consistent and more enjoyable for me than Glass Beach. But the highs of Glass Beach are more high than anything else this week. So I could not bear to put it below Bread Club. But Bread Club, incredibly consistent. Love it. Great EP. Number 3, Glass Beach. Like I said before, I really like the opening. I really like the closing. The middle of it's kind of a dip. A really huge steeping dip into like the ocean and back. The Mariana Trench or whatever the fuck that's called.
Yeah, Mariana Trench.
Marinara Trench, yeah.
Explore her Marinara Trench. Oh fuck.
But it's an impressive album nonetheless. I do appreciate what it does. I can see obviously its influence and its importance, so I can't
Get
be too
on
mad
with
at it.
it.
Number 2, going to be Boyscott.
I'm not surprised by your number 1.
Number 2, Boyscott's really cute. My only problems with it really are the lyrics. And number 1, of course, is Home Is Where. Our Mouth's a Smile. It's a good EP. I like it. It's not as good as I Became Birds, but it's the thing that I had the least problems with, and I think still covered new ground and was interesting in all of its own. Bread Club is very much of its genre. Our Mouth's a Smile is at least going towards what I Became Birds will become.
Number 6 for me is Pinkish Blue. I enjoy it a lot more than you two do, but I don't really care. I still think, yes, that everything else that we have it is better quality than it. Number 5 for me is Boyscott. I just like all the other stuff more, is the best way of saying it. Number 4 for me is Home Is Where. I'm just, maybe I'm cursed because of I Became Birds for this one, but yeah. So 3, 2, 1. It's a little hard, but I kind of like thinking about it here. And number 3, I do agree, it's got to go to Bread Club. Number 2, it's going to go to Glass Beach. And then number 1, I'm putting as fanclbwallet. I like the fanclbwallet. I was thinking of it, and I was like, I really do like the Glass Beach album still, but like it wasn't even a top 20 here in this fanclbwallet, and it's kind of EPs and albums, and it's like, in the end, I'm just going to listen to the fanclbwallet more.
Gotcha. Mine's gonna be a little weird. So I'm gonna start. Number 6 obviously is going to be Pinkish Blue. I just did not vibe with it at all. And then I'm gonna say it's a massive jump, and number 5 for me is gonna be Bread Club.
Okay.
And I did enjoy Bread Club, but I just enjoyed everything else a little bit more.
Fair enough.
Number 4, going to be Home Is Where. I liked it, but like again, I think that I Became Birds is just so much better. Number 3 is gonna be Boyscott. I just have good memories tied up in that album. I just really enjoy it. Number 2, fanclbwallet. Heard is boring. Really, really dug this, but it's just slightly under my favorite this week, which is Glass Beach.
I think all said and done, I still had the more weirder pick. My top 6.
But now we have to pick what we do next week.
I've spoiled mine, so I'll just go ahead and tell mine.
Go ahead.
Okay.
We're doing JPEG Mafia LP.
If I went first, I could have stolen this from you because I actually listened to this morning and it's fantastic. So I'm hyped.
Yes. I mean, you can steal it from me if you want to. I'll pick something else.
Nah, I got other stuff.
You sure?
You've already picked it. You can't now.
My backup's Dirty Nil. Or the Aubreys?
JPEG Mafia. Nah, go with JPEG.
Alright, JPEG.
I've already added to the playlist. It's too late.
I want to do both the offline and the online version if we can.
Tricks pick first because I'm still thinking.
Okay, I'm going to be going with an artist I kind of recently discovered, just through radio and whatnot, and I'm going to be doing the album "Emily Can't Sing" by Joe P.
Why can't she sing?
Guess we'll have to
What's
listen to
wrong
the
with
album and find out.
How do you spell Joe P?
It's Joe and then the letter P.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't know. There's like a joke in there somewhere.
I don't know, but it's in all lowercase. One of his more popular songs is called "Fighting in the Car."
I'm just gonna do my live thinking here. I'm thinking it's been a while since I've done an Australian artist, hasn't it? And that's kind of what my whole gimmick was. So I think there was a lot that I kind of wanted to do, but I'm gonna just like.
And there's a live album that came out to go with your live.
Well,
thinking.
a while since I've done only Australian. I mean, Pinkish and Breakup are both Australian, but like, been a while since I've done an album that's Australian. Not since Tropical Fuckstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking maybe I was kind of like going, do I do a Big Scaries album? Do I do a new Ammo and stuff? Do I do Middle Kids? But I think the wait's long enough, and we finally do the album that I promised at the start of the year that we would do, because it's a good album. I don't know if it's gonna be top 20 for me, but it's a good album. We're doing Psychedelic Porn Crumpets Shagger.
Shagger?
With Shagger, the Sunlight Mound.
Gotcha.
I only promised that in January, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only been 11 months. Not as bad as Tropical
Fuckstorm. I said I'd do Boyscott in January, so
yeah,
we're both on this.
Yeah, seeming as we've only got 3 more weeks or something, including this next week, isn't it?
I think we're gonna say fuck the themed episodes for the rest of the year and just go 2021 or shit that we want.
2021 to end this. And yeah, need to do it with something that I have been planning to do to wait too long. I don't have anything else to add to that, so just gonna be a classic Psychedelic Porn Crumpets again.
Hell yeah. Go episode 79, almost going back to 40 episodes ago. Ish. Was it Psychedelic Porn Crumpets episode 40?
We did it. It was the first episode.
Yeah.
46 to 79.
It was the first episode of
32
this year.
episodes
We
ago.
did a whole 100-minute things, and I did the whole of High Visceral. And I promised, as we did that I'd say we would do Shaga, and it's been this song.
Yeah.
Yes. So to recap here, JPEG Mafia's LP, both offline and online versions. Joe P's Emily Can't Sing. And Psychedelic Porn Crumpets, Shia, The Sunlight Mound.
Yeah. Until then, I have been Ritalin. You can catch me on my website, ritalinforkids.github.io. I also have a YouTube channel. It's in the description below. It rhymes.
I've been Dominic. You can catch me on Twitter at DACICHOCKI. I've written for Tilted Window Studios in the past. I haven't recently, but you could probably read some new writing of mine soon somewhere. I have a good feeling about it.
Oop.
Happy 100th episode, everybody. Not really the 100th episode, but 100th recording.
Yay!
I've been Trix. You can catch me on Twitter at procrastinaut_. I also have a bot that I recently updated to make it less piss focused, but still have a lot of piss in it. You'll see. And I have a YouTube channel, and you can catch us all at Dissonant Waves on Twitter and dissonantwaves.space. And you're probably watching this on our YouTube channel right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, stay tuned to next week when we listen to Joe Piss Mafia's Crumpets. Have a good time, everybody.